Hello everyone, it's Meg Ray. Welcome back to another episode of my Minecraft survival series. And is it just me, or does it look really derpy to be wearing the elytra with the leggings? Why are the leggings going halfway up my chest? It just looks so ridiculous. Anyway, I have a lot planned for today, and I'm excited to get to show you what we're going to be doing. But first, let's have a look at this map, because we don't look at it often enough, and I kind of wanted to point out what I was going to be working on. So far, I haven't really gone farther than this area right here, although I would like to expand out and build some other things here and there. I just haven't gotten a chance because I've been so busy building up this one area, which, by the way, I'm probably going to be working on for a long time. Now, it looks like some of these maps need to be updated. Let me see. Alright, I did have to go update a few of the maps really quickly. So over here you can see the forest that I started to do, the custom forest. And I only have this little section done, and ideally I would like to fill up this whole area and this whole area at least. That is the minimum that I want to make a custom forest. Of course I know I could just grow notch trees everywhere, but I want it to look really nice. So this is where we're going to be working on today. This gray spot right here is a project that I have been playing for a while, and it was actually one of your suggestions, so let me go ahead and read that right now. I did read this before, but the suggestion was to add a marketplace in the village, which is a very good suggestion. I want to add as much as I can to the village. The biggest problem I'm having is finding enough space for everything, which is why I did what I did here, and I actually dug this giant hole in the middle of the mountain, and we can check that out in just a moment. But before we go over there, look at this. Stupid Enderman, why do they keep messing with my roof? I don't understand this. But the Endermen have been added again. It looks like some mobs have died up here too. Free stuff for me. Now I'm trying to be very creative with how I use the space in this area because I'm getting very restricted on this side of the village, but over here I do have a lot more space, especially if I want to expand up on top of this mountain. But coming through here is where we're going to be adding our marketplace. So I dug out this large hole, and I imagine it that you walk in here and kind of discover all these things inside here that you can't see from out on the main path. So it's going to be this really interesting hidden area that will be a marketplace, and who knows what else. And like I said, I was thinking about expanding the village even more above there. It's just going to take a little bit of time, but today we're going to work on this main area for the marketplace. As far as planning this area out, I did do a little bit of planning, a little bit more planning than usual. I'm trying to get better at actually planning out my stuff instead of just rushing into it. So this time I actually looked up some references, especially with Pinterest. Pinterest is just amazing for getting ideas, especially when it comes to fantasy architecture. Anyway, I've been researching some ideas, and then looking at those ideas, I came up with some block palettes to use. So I just collected a whole lot of blocks, and we'll see what I can do with them. I don't know if I'm going to use all of them, but I collected a good variety of blocks that I think I'll be using. I will be using these dark gray ones for the floor. So I already know what I want the floor to look like, and we're probably going to have some kind of nice centerpiece in the center of this area. It's not a perfect circle, but we should be able to find some kind of centerpiece. This is as close to the center as we're going to get, or maybe right there. So that is going to be our center point. Now I haven't decided what I want to put in the middle, possibly either a statue or a fountain or even a tree. And I'm kind of leaning towards the tree just because I think it would look really nice to have a tree almost like a canopy over this area. So I might do that. It might not cover the whole area, but I think it will really add to this foresty theme I have going on everywhere. So I think I'm just going to start with a basic ground here for where the tree is going to go, and then all around this we're going to use the gray block. Then around this we're going to use some smithing tables, just because I like the texture on top of it. It kind of looks like pebbles, even though the edges do give it a blocky look because it's outlined with a lighter color. I still think it looks really nice. I just love the pebbly look, so I'm just going to use these just around the center point to add a little bit more interest to this floor. It's not really going to look like much other than a dark gravel. That's really what I'm going for, and it's really just to contrast nicely with the walls because there's a lot of light gray everywhere. I don't know if this is going to be big enough, but we're just going to continue and see how it goes. So the next layer is going to be this dark gray concrete powder. And like I said, I like this texture because it almost looks like a dark gray gravel. And I want this to look as stony as possible, so this is a good option. I really like it, just gotta be careful not to spill any water on it. Already I can tell this is not a perfect circle, but you know what? We can always expand it on any side we want to at any time. Especially this corner here. I might have to dig that one farther out. We'll see. It's probably fine as it is too. I don't really care if it is a perfect circle. It's not supposed to be perfect. It is, after all, inside a mountain. And next layer is some gray wool just to gradually make this go darker and darker. And then after this, I'm going to do the very edge with a gray concrete that has had water added to it, such as this. I think it'll look pretty nice. Maybe we can even make this light gray, or lighter gray, I should say. Come down here, and then over here we'll just blend it in just a little bit here and there. I think that looks pretty good. Now just to fill in the rest of this. Alright, that's done. Looks pretty good. This is the general idea. Looks like I will have to move this corner out a little bit. I did dig some of it up, and I can even just start with the floor and just worry about this top part later. I think we do need to make it a little bit more symmetrical. Not quite. It's not going to be perfect. Now for the center, I think I want to do the center first. It's going to be a little tree, or I would like it to span out as much as possible. Actually, maybe we should do that last because I don't want it to interfere with the buildings too much, and the buildings will take priority. So maybe we'll do the center last. Once again, I don't have a lot of space to work with here, but I can always dig some of these buildings into the mountain a little bit more if I had to. But we're going to start with the outsides of the shops, if you will. So I'm going to start with one on this side, maybe starting about right there, or maybe one farther back. I want to make sure it looks really open, so I don't want to put it too far out. And then we'll put another one here, and then maybe diagonally, and we'll just have it curve around just like that. Oh, let me make sure this is the same distance apart. Okay, perfect. So it's going to be like this, and we'll have some fences on top of that, and then we'll just give it a covering. And it will be like a walkway. You can just walk around under here. I might do a couple of these and then have a couple individual shops, but for the most part, it's just going to be these little walkways that you can walk under with all the shopping things underneath of them. So I think that'll look nice. Since this town uses a lot of green, I'm going to try using mossy cobblestone a lot in this. And we're going to just outline this roof with this, and then the actual rest of the roof we're going to try using some green terracotta or some other green block. And I think it would look pretty nice. We'll just have to test out this whole roof to see how it's going to look. Well, I do have half of that done. Let me try putting in some of this green terracotta. So I haven't really tested this out, but this is the general idea that I'm thinking. Just have this go all around here. Maybe even get some darker greens or lighter greens. We'll have to see how it looks. That's the general idea, of course, minus all these random blocks that aren't supposed to be there. And maybe even clean it up a little bit with the mountain. But this is the general idea. It's kind of small, and I will probably want to texture it a little bit more. And we'll probably have to dig out, like I said, more space under here so there's actually more things to look at. But I want it to be pretty much that you can just walk around here on the outside without having to go in the center if you didn't want to. Alright, so I did do a little bit more work. I've added another canopy over there. In addition to this one, I also went ahead and mixed in some regular cobblestone with the mossy just because I thought it was looking a little too green. So I wanted to throw in some lighter grays there. And over here I decided to go with an arch just to break up the pattern and add a little bit of height to it, and I think it turned out really nice. I also threw in some gates in with these fences to add a little bit of extra texture, and I don't know, I just think it looks cool. So I can keep texturing these. I was thinking maybe I could even add a few extra stone walls on these, have them kind of sticking out in different directions. It doesn't have to be any particular pattern, but I think it does give it a better foundation than what we have there. Over here in this corner, I do want to add another building, possibly make it a little taller with a spire-like roof and with a different color palette. But I just want to show you what I have going on over here, and in this corner I haven't decided what I'm going to put yet, but I think this is a good start. And I also had to move the centerpiece over a block because it was a little too close to this side. So that just comes with the territory, I guess. I did end up pushing that corner back just a little bit to make room for that roof too. But I think this is looking great so far. So with this building, I haven't experimented a whole lot with how I want it to look. But I do want to try using diorite and iron bars. I want it to look very thin and elegant. So we're going to try this and see how it looks. And then, like I said, we're going to do probably a circular roof, a spire-like roof. I don't know if I should have it bend up like I do here for this one, or if I just have it go around. Maybe make it just a little bit taller so it's a different height from everything else. So we'll bring these up one more, just like that. And maybe one, oh, I did that wrong. Gotta add one more. And add one more here. Next, let's try this same thing I did before. Just try connecting them. And maybe one in the center like that. I kind of like that, but I almost wish it was going the other way. So let's redo that and have it just poke out the other way. So we'll have it go out like this, go down like that. I think that looks better. And then in the front, we'll probably want it to stick out one block and then go over and down in the middle. And one more time over here, down in the middle, just like that. And we'll see what that looks like. Ooh! I actually kind of like that. It looks very elegant. It might be like a little too thin of pillars, but maybe we'll add more to it. I just have to put the roof on and then decide. It is a little bit hard to see, so maybe... Ooh, I just had an idea. I do have a few end rods we can use to experiment, and I think this will look perfect here. Even though it's going to emit light, I'm just using it for the thickness and the fact that it's white. And I think putting those there really fits well with this diorite. It also doesn't blend in with the stone in the background like these iron bars do, which is nice. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the particles that they emit, but that still looks 1,000 times better, I believe. Now I just have to figure out what kind of wood I want on top of that. Probably something dark? I don't know. I was thinking spruce, but I'm already using spruce fences. Maybe birch, honestly. Although I don't really use birch anywhere else. Maybe oak. I think oak would be a good compromise. Now I do have slabs and a full block here to start it off, but what if I kind of transitioned it into a full wood block, and then I'm going to strip it so it kind of matches in color. I don't know how this is going to look. I'm just going to try it. So we'll do wood there, wood here, and let me go pick that up. Well, from down here, it definitely needs a steeper angle than that, so I might have to redo part of this. So we'll start with a row of wood along the bottom here. I don't know if I want to put it on every corner. I should conserve it. Let's just do the outside corners. And we'll make it go too high. Well, I blocked something out, but it's still not quite right. You can see how rounded it looks on this side. So I'm gonna have to tweak some things, and actually went all the way up the side, but I think that's fine. I just have to get this shape right, and then I have an idea for how I'm actually gonna texture it. I haven't stripped any of the wood yet because I might leave some of it unstripped. But first, let me get this shape right. It's really tricky. I'm not sure how this is gonna look. Okay, I think this is about as close as I'm going to get it. I had to mess with it several times, but let me go ahead and strip some of the wood. It's probably going to look like a mess though once I start stripping it, because the logs are going in all different directions. And we're not even going to be stripping all of it, just the top part. So we'll just strip these top few, and I hope this is the center point. I really don't know. I had to move it around and try to figure it out. I've just been eyeballing it. I haven't really been counting to make sure it was the center point, but I'm sure it's fine. So we'll just strip just a few of them, like so. And then I'm going to replace these oak slabs down here with spruce slabs because they are darker and will blend with this wood better. Maybe even put one up in the middle there just to give it more height. Well, it's not perfect, but it doesn't look terrible either. I'm actually kind of happy with that. And we'll have to work on the interiors for all of these or something nice for the backdrop. It's not going to just look like this with the stone behind it, but I think that's a pretty good start. And maybe we'll do the same thing that we did over there for this and have some diorite walls coming out, except for this one I'll probably make it a little more symmetrical. Something like that. I actually ran out of walls, but that looks pretty cool. I like it. So while we do have a little more wall space to work with, I think I'm just going to leave it at these three for now, and if I come up with some ideas for what to do over in this section, I might do that. I do have some ideas for some things I want to do. Oh, look, we have a villager. They have been wandering over here because my villager breeder is right on the other side of this mountain. It's really convenient because they're already coming over here. They will be able to settle in here and start selling things. But it's nice that I won't have to move them around very much. Since it is nighttime, this would probably be a good chance to start adding in some lights. Maybe just a lantern here and there. It doesn't even have to be everywhere, just, oh, that's a little bit low. I don't really like it there, but maybe on the ends of these like that. I don't like that open. Maybe under here we can do some cross beams. Yeah, I should have done this to find a center, but it looks like I didn't exactly get the center, but I think it looks fine from the outside. It's really all that matters. Just need to put a couple here, and then in the center we'll have a single lantern hanging down. Maybe about, yeah, that'll probably work. Let's see how that looks. Even though this area doesn't really need to be lit with these end rods here, that looks nice, gives it a nice focal point to look at. And then over here we'll put one in the center of that. That should be good. We got some lanterns in, and I will also have to go in here and cover some of the floor with some lights. Oh look, we have more guests. The thought just occurred to me, does it count for more damage when you do a headshot in Minecraft? Because I don't know why that never occurred to me before. So I just added a few jack-o'-lanterns in the ground covered with some carpet, and that will be our lighting for this area. I also went ahead and reworked the base of this just a little bit more to make it look a little sturdier and that it actually had something to stand on. I think it looks a lot better. But next thing I want to do is work on the centerpiece because I think it's going to be one of the most important things. And it's going to be a tree, of course, but I'm not sure. Let me see, I might have to go grab a few extra wood blocks. I'm not exactly sure how big I want it to look. But I do know it's going to use a lot of fences because I can't make the branches too thick because I don't have tons of space to work with. So we're going to start with just the base of the trunk, which is going to be not super wide, like I said, and I'm just going to use planks because I'm feeling very lazy with this tree, and I'm going to be using fences anyway. But let's make it twist a little bit. Just getting the big chunk of the tree done, and then we'll branch off of this with the fences to make the branches. So that seems like a pretty good foundation. Now for the rest of it, we are just going to use fences, and I have different kinds of fences because I had an idea for how I was going to do this. First, let's just make a little bit of roots here using slabs. Maybe a fence here or there, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to experiment with this. I want it to make a canopy of sorts, but I also don't want it to be super low to the ground, so that might be a little too low actually. I want it to be raised high enough to where it's going to look like a lot bigger of a tree than it really is, but in reality it's just because the branches are going to be reaching really high up. I don't know if I'm explaining it as well as what I'm picturing in my head, but that's kind of the idea. I think I'll just keep building it out a little bit and see if I'm actually going to get something that is what I'm thinking. I am actually very impressed with how this tree turned out. So this is exactly what I was picturing. I might have made it a little bit smaller than I was hoping, but at the same time, I still think it's the perfect size. And I had all these different colors of fences, starting from the dark oak and then putting some spruce next to that and then ending with oak. And then on the ends of those putting iron bars. I just think it looks very elegant and very fantasy-like. And I was wondering maybe we should even add some vines along the side, but not too many because I don't want it to spread everywhere. I might just try 1 or 2 of these, wait for them to grow and see if I like it. But I really like how it is right now, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how I like this. I was thinking more of like a willow tree. That's the only reason I wanted to try the vines. So we'll try a few of them and see how that looks. Now for the rest of this episode, I think I'm just going to start filling in some of the details, not everything, because I like to take my time and think about things, but we're going to at least be putting in a few things to give it a little bit more life. First, I do want to put some flowers around the space because it feels kind of dark. Maybe we'll even give it some kind of border. I haven't quite decided. I do like it as it is. Maybe that will be enough actually, because it does add a little bit of a bright spot in the center. Now the first thing I want to do is work on this part over here. I think this is where we're going to be doing most of the food for the marketplace, so this is going to be a fun area to work on. So first of all, let's see, I do have a little bit of grass. I would like to have a few planters, although I haven't quite figured out how I want to handle this. Maybe just along there. I'll have to craft myself a hoe. That's something I don't normally carry around everywhere I go. So this water doesn't seem to be working here. We'll have to put it up one and destroy our entire marketplace in the process. I am not thinking straight. Alright. This is probably going to be the best I can do right now. It probably won't look too bad. And then we'll put a few carrots in here and have those growing along the sides. Add some nice green things along the side. Maybe we'll plant some other things too, but for now, we just have the carrots. And then we can cover this up with some trapdoors on all the sides. I think that looks pretty nice. Now I will have to move this pumpkin out of the way. We'll have to move it to probably one of these places over here. Maybe we'll do another one here even. And I think that's close enough to that water where it will still be irrigated by it. And over here we can put some potatoes. I brought a little bit of everything to put in this marketplace. So we'll put a couple of potatoes here and we will cover this up with trapdoors too, just like so. I think that looks pretty good. I might move some stuff around depending on how it looks, but for now I'm just going to be kind of spamming different blocks around. I also have a few melons to place and some pumpkins as well if we want to do those. But let's start with the melons. Something green. Maybe have a few of these sticking out here. Not too many though, because honestly there isn't a lot of space and I don't want it to look super cluttered or too much of a single block. Now something else I had the idea of doing, just to add a little bit of interest, we're going to put these little tables. Well, I'm going to use scaffolding as a table, and then on top of that we'll do a flower pot and put a little tree in it, and it will look so cute. And maybe we'll even do like some empty tables or like a couple scaffolding on top of each other to kind of look like a shelf. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just kind of making stuff up right now. Maybe do something like that. Put another flower pot on this side with a jungle sapling. Looks kind of cool. Add some little decorations. Now I haven't thought about how I want to do the back wall yet. I probably will change it, but I think I'm going to worry about that some other time. Something I think we are missing here is we're missing a chicken. We need a chicken. So I'm going to make a little pen for a chicken and spawn one in here and we'll have a penned up chicken. Just have to make sure we can get a chicken. There we go. And then we'll just cover it up. And we've got our little chicken in a cage. Maybe we can even make some empty crates. Maybe another crate over here, or a couple of them, to kind of look like there's more than one going on. Kind of have to get creative with how you stack them, and you can have some empty crates there in the corner, have a live one right there. That looks so cute! I like how this is turning out. And you can walk through here. Maybe we'll have to clean up the ceiling. I don't know. I kind of like it as it is. But definitely work on that back wall some more and add something else to it. Okay, I'm not very good at these little details, but I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself right now. So I just remembered that I was going to try adding banners in this marketplace. So let's just try adding a few. Oh, this isn't going to work because these are bottom slabs. Well, it won't work there, but maybe it will work. Come here. Maybe it will work on the sides. I don't really like that. I was wondering if I wanted to incorporate these really more than anything else, if I just wanted to. We could put a couple of them like so. Just like that to add a little bit more interest to this. Maybe a few over here even, one there, and maybe one there. That looks pretty cool. I like it. And my vines are kind of growing in, not too much. Oh, this one's growing in. I'll have to wait and see how I like that. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the stone backdrop. I don't know, what block should I use for the backdrop of this? Because the gray is just too much. Maybe a color or maybe black even, just to kind of offset everything. Black would work well because it would add enough contrast for everything else to just stand out. Maybe even black terracotta so it's not like a wool or a concrete. Just something that's really dark to make it look like it's shaded underneath too. This is one of the sorriest entrances I've ever seen. Well, it could be worse. I think if I throw in a few fences, it will look okay. But let me show you what I have done in here. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe how well this turned out. And it's still not done, but I think I'm going to be done with it for now. We still have this whole bare wall to worry about. Over here I have a whole stack of barrels, and I was wondering if I should almost make something go into the mountain here, something that you can walk through that isn't necessarily out in the open like everything else. But this is looking really good so far. Let me walk over here and show you what I've done with this place. So over here we have a bunch of armor stands if you wanted to buy some armor. I also use grindstone as like chains hanging from the ceiling just to add a little bit of interest. And I just scattered a few random things around. I feel like I can fill this place in better with more items, but this is a good start. Also, I covered the back wall with this black terracotta, and the reason for that is if you look over there against that building, you'll see how light it is and how it blends with the walls all around it. But when I put the darker terracotta there, it almost looks like a shadow of sorts coming from the roof. So it kind of gives the illusion that this place is being shaded, and it also just helps distinguish the building from the rest of the mountain. While I didn't get enough terracotta to do all of the buildings, I was able to get this one completely done. I might do something slightly different with this one, I haven't decided. And then over here in the food market, I was able to get just this one corner of it done. But I think it does add a lot of details to this. Oh, thank you, chicken! I just got another egg. Maybe we should try hatching one. Well, no such luck today. The vines in this tree are growing in nicely, and I have to say that this tree is probably my favorite part of this build. Anyway, I think this has been quite a successful build. That was a lot of work, but I really think it was worth it. And like I said before at the very beginning of the video, I probably will be expanding up there. Maybe. We'll see. This village is slowly but surely coming together, and I'm really pleased with how it's looking so far. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I feel like I put a lot more effort into this one than most of my other episodes. I would like to put more effort into these, but it is very time consuming. Survival can be very time consuming, but obviously the results speak for themselves and my effort has paid off. And of course, it's not perfect, but so if you do have suggestions for anything else we can add to this area, feel free to let me know. Oh, and speaking of suggestions, we can probably mark this one off the list because it technically is mostly done to a point where I think we can check that off the list and come up with some other ideas for, if not here, even anywhere in this world. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you again sometime. Until then, goodbye!